We live in a fast-paced and stressful world where our emotions can easily overwhelm us. However, we can learn to control our emotions and use them to our benefit. This story highlights the significance of managing our emotions, showing how it can help us navigate life's challenges and opportunities more effectively. Stay tuned to find out how to master your emotions and enhance your daily life. Once there was a king who had a habit of reacting impulsively and letting his emotions control him. He would get easily upset over trivial matters, even sentencing people to death for minor mistakes. One day, a wise monk visited the king's kingdom for a few days. Upon hearing of monk's arrival, the king eagerly invited him to dinner at the palace, and the monk graciously accepted. That evening, as they sat down to eat and converse, a fly accidentally fell into the king's soup. The king became furious when he saw a fly in his soup and shouted angrily at his servant, "Can't you see there is a fly in my soup? How can you be so careless?" The servant, trembling with fear, replied, "Your Majesty, the fly was not there when I served the soup." However, the king's anger did not subside. Observing the situation, the monk intervened calmly, saying, "Your Majesty, it was not the servant's fault. The fly landed in the soup after it was served. You should not let such trivial matters ruin your mood." Deeply offended, the king responded with frustration, "But sir, I can't help it. Even a small fly can ruin my mood." The monk smiled gently and replied, "It's not the fly that has spoiled your mood, but your reaction to it. You have the power to control your emotions. Your Majesty, do not let your emotions control you. Instead, you should control your emotions." The king sighed, expressing his struggle, "But I can't control my anger. When I try to suppress it, I only become more frustrated." The monk understandingly explained, "Your Majesty, it's because you have never tried to control your emotions. One should never make hasty decisions in moments of anger or extreme joy. Take some time to reflect before reacting. Maintain control over your emotions instead of letting them dictate your actions." The king took the monk's words to heart and began practicing patience and emotional control. After a few days, he realized that by calming down, he could think more clearly about situations and make better decisions. The king became calmer and more peaceful, finding that he could understand situations better and govern his kingdom more effectively. The king found himself living a much happier and more peaceful life. One day, he decided to thank the monk for his valuable advice. He approached the monk and said, "O wise one, your teachings have transformed me. I now have better control over my emotions and make wiser decisions. I am truly grateful for your guidance." The monk smiled kindly and replied, "King, you are not alone in facing these challenges. Many people struggle to control their impulses and let their emotions dictate their actions. Share this wisdom with others, encouraging them to practice peace and patience to lead better lives." It is important to understand that emotions like anger, happiness, and sadness are transient and part of life. We should not be overwhelmed by these emotions but remain calm and patient, so we can steer our lives instead of being driven by fleeting feelings. In our lives, we often encounter stressful situations that can easily overwhelm us. However, by being mindful of our emotions and learning to manage them, we can take control and make positive changes in our lives. Emotions are natural and inevitable, but they can be harmful if we react impulsively. Acting hastily based on our emotions may lead to regret later on. To take control of our emotions, the first step is to identify our emotional triggers. These triggers are things that make us feel angry or upset, and they can vary widely from person to person, including events, memories, or specific words or actions. For instance, one person's trigger might be anger when they are criticized at work or stuck in traffic, while another person might feel sadness when reminded of a past trauma or loss. To recognize your emotional triggers, introspection is necessary. When we feel overwhelmed by our emotions, we should stay present and observe them without judgment. Mindful techniques like breathing exercises or meditation can help calm us down. Additionally, we need to pay attention to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations when we encounter our triggers. This way, we can understand our reactions and learn to change our responses. We can also find other ways to cope with our emotions, such as taking a break, talking to a friend, or doing something relaxing. It's important to remember that emotions are temporary and will pass. By being peaceful and patient, we can overcome life's difficulties without being controlled by our emotions. This approach will enable us to enjoy a more fulfilling and peaceful life, free from remorse and chaos.